A large majority of us suffer anxiety disorder, and nearly all of us have felt anxiety as a natural response to certain situations. This is a result of the chronic stimulation of our autonomic nervous system or our fight or flight mode. Anxiety-related issues can also develop from a complex set of risk factors, including genetics, brain chemistry, personality, and life events. It's not uncommon for someone with anxiety to also suffer from depression. Nearly half of those diagnosed with depression are also diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. If you live with chronic stress or anxiety, you might spend much of your daily life managing it with tools such as therapy, mindfulness, exercise, and anti-anxiety medication. These can help relieve the burden of anxiety. But did you know that anxiety can also be triggered by certain foods we put in our bodies? And that diet can play an important role in helping manage and reducing that anxiety? Hi, I'm Rishi, and thanks for stopping by my channel. I'm a practicing nutritionist with a background in human physiology and nutritional sciences. Here, I take a holistic and scientific approach to all aspects of health and wellness, including chronic lifestyle disorders. I use food as medicine to optimize one's nutrition to promote longevity and healthy aging. So if you want to hack your health span and be the best version of yourself, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss anything. I think it's safe to say that this past year and a bit has been quite stressful for a lot of us. If you're experiencing anxiety in life, it can come from one of many sources, which could be from mental, emotional, spiritual, or physical imbalances. There are many science-based methods to relieve anxiety and support your mental health. But if anxiety is still impacting your life, it might be worth it to glance down at your plate. I want to talk about the relationship between food and mood, which foods work with you and those against you. Foods can broadly be classified as anxiogenic, those that are anxiety causing, and anxiolytic, those that are anxiety relieving. People eating a lot of anxiogenic foods regularly don't realize it's affecting their mood so much. Anxiogenic foods tend to have a cumulative effect on our chronic state of mood and mind. But eating something anxiolytic immediately after also helps in relieving that same anxiety. A deeper dive into foods easily reveals how some foods can be anxiogenic while others anxiolytic. Non-starchy vegetables that are dark, leafy, cruciferous, and green are extremely potent in reducing anxiety. These include kale, spinach, asparagus, artichokes, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts. People who don't like leafy greens or those who have a sensitive gut may start with a daily green smoothie as a first meal for the day instead. Spices which are both antioxidant rich with anti-anxiety properties include turmeric, ginger, and garlic. Moreover, foods like complex carbohydrates and whole grains are metabolized more slowly and therefore help maintain a more even blood sugar level, creating a calmer feeling. All these foods are also anti-inflammatory in nature, and inflammation is a major cause of stress and anxiety too. But more on that in a bit. Now, let's delve into foods that are anxiety-inducing. And there's quite a few of these. The number one thing to avoid is refined sugar and corn syrup, especially high fructose corn syrup. These are extremely neurotoxic, meaning toxic for the brain. This is because it greatly inflames the brain. Refined sugar, apart from being a leading cause for anxiety, is also very addictive, and breaking the habit of it can be quite difficult. And there really is little to no reason to even have it as a small part of your diet other than the occasional treat, as there are plenty of natural sugar alternatives available to us. Replacement therapy is the best step forward to reducing and eventually eliminating all refined sugars from our diet. So avoid simple processed carbs found in packaged foods. It's obviously okay to crave and want to eat cookies and cakes from time to time. But rather than buy packaged ones from a store, perhaps try baking them at home with the right ingredients, or at least pick store-bought ones that use sugar alternatives like honey, monk fruit, xylitol, which is birch tree sugar, or maple syrup instead. But remember, these are calorie-dense sugars, and although honey may be very nutrient-rich, it still needs to be treated like sugar. More importantly, these are not neurotoxic like refined sugar. Regardless, these aren't foods you should be eating a lot of or very frequently in any case. And they're still treats. But at least they won't have that neuroinflammatory, anxiogenic effect on your body. This kind of replacement therapy can help you get completely off white sugar for life. And this is the first step. And after that, as your body starts to get healthier and balances out, And as you start to nourish your body properly with nutrient-dense whole foods, your sugar cravings will automatically start to decrease and level out, and you won't be able to eat as much sugar as maybe you currently do at this point. The second food is trans fats, which are a type of synthetic fat found in processed, ultra-processed junk and fast foods. These are the type of fats that our body is unable to properly break down and digest, as they contain hidden chemicals, preservatives, and additives, all of which are used to increase their shelf lives in stores, preventing them from going bad for months. Consuming trans fats can increase your risk of depression and anxiety by as much as 48%, according to studies. Trans fat containing foods also lead to brain fog, agitated mood, and aggressive behavior, all due to inflammation caused in the brain. Next, avoid highly processed and pro-inflammatory vegetable oils like corn and sunflower, and replace them with natural alternatives like coconut, avocado, olive oils, or ghee, all of which contain healthy fats and are anti-inflammatory in nature. In addition to healthy guidelines such as eating a balanced diet rich in whole grains, fruits, and vegetables, and drinking enough water to stay hydrated, there are many other dietary considerations that can help relieve anxiety. The brain-gut connection is huge when it relates to emotional health and mood. Our emotions are clearly linked to our nutrition, since about 95% of our serotonin receptors are found in the lining of our gut. Serotonin is our happy hormone and key in managing our mood by creating a sense of happiness and well-being, while preventing both anxiety and depression. Certain deficiencies in foods can also be anxiogenic. Magnesium, zinc, and omega-3 fatty acids are examples of such vital micronutrients, whose deficiency can easily induce anxiety, but once consumed, are also able to relieve it quite quickly. A diet rich in fatty fish like salmon and tuna, plus nuts and seeds like flax, chia, hemp, and fruits like avocado are all that you need. Another deficiency that's anxiety-causing is a lowered total antioxidant state, and stands to reason that simply enhancing a diet with foods rich in antioxidants may help ease symptoms. Antioxidant-rich foods include beans like pinto, black and kidney, whole fruits like apples, prunes, cherries, and plums, berries such as blueberries, strawberries, cranberries, and raspberries, and nuts like walnuts, almonds, and pecans. Limiting both alcohol and caffeine can also greatly help reduce anxiety and stress. A bit about alcohol first. This falls into a more controversial category and isn't easy to definitively classify it as anxiogenic or anxiolytic. It's more of a bio-individual approach so far. As for some people, it can relieve anxiety and stress and really help boost the mood, while for others it can trigger anxiety, especially if they have certain issues in their gut or if it negatively impacts the quality of their sleep and recovery. So with alcohol, it really comes down to bio-individuality. Regardless, it should be consumed in moderation. Alcohol directly impacts the quality of your sleep, recoveries, focus, and brain fog the next day. Moreover, it plays a major role in appetite management by increasing levels of your hunger hormone ghrelin, while simultaneously lowering your satiety hormone leptin, meaning it increases cravings while simultaneously lowering inhibitions, especially for hyperpalatable foods that are rich in sugars, salt, and fats. A double whammy as it sets you up perfectly for binging. Believe it or not, that beverage you're drinking to quell your social anxiety is actually making it worse. Although it may seem like it calms your nerves, alcohol has a negative impact on hydration and sleep, both of which can trigger anxiety symptoms when suppressed. Alcohol changes levels of serotonin and other neurotransmitters in the brain, which makes anxiety worse. And when the alcohol actually wears off, you may feel even more anxious. Now a bit about caffeine. So first no booze, and now your coffee? Sadly, yes. High levels of caffeine can not only increase anxiety and nervousness, but also decrease the production of serotonin in the body, causing a depressed mood. Typically, caffeine is safe in low doses, but high doses can cause unpleasant effects, namely anxiety and nervousness. I've mentioned earlier how certain foods are pro-inflammatory or inflammation-causing. Inflammation is not only one of the major causes of anxiety, but also all metabolic disorders like type 2 diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular issues, and dementia. So reducing pro-inflammatory foods while increasing anti-inflammatory foods together will have a synergistic effect on reducing overall systemic inflammation in the body, which improves mood, lowers anxiety, and keeps you healthier in general. For any program to succeed, it cannot be about complete deprivation. That will always fail in the long term. I strongly believe that everything should be done in moderation, including moderation itself. This means trying to have you eat all the foods that you love, but that also love you back. Because lowering your anxiety levels and getting off the fight or flight mode has the additional benefit of increasing your body's overall immune health, health span, and energy levels. If you had to make one change to your dietary regimen to begin with, then try this. Remove refined sugar and add a green drink to your day. Thanks for watching this video. If you found value in the information I've shared, then please consider subscribing and hitting that like button. Drop me a comment if you have any feedback for me. I'd really appreciate that.